Don't talk about the Joker movie. You talked about it enough. You need to move on to something else. The movie's not out for another few weeks. There's got to be something else to talk about. Valiant's got movies coming out. Spawn 300 just happened. Disney Plus is coming soon. You're excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier. Warner Brothers is teasing a new Batman game. We can talk about that. The Joker's laugh is something that, damn it, I did it again. Is it too early to swear yet? Well, it looks like we're talking about that. The laugh of the Joker is probably the character's biggest defining trait. It's been a part of him ever since his creation almost 80 years ago. Just like his purple suit, his red lips, his white skin, and his green hair, the Joker's laugh is just as much a part of his iconography as his visual aesthetic is. Once you hear that laughter or you read it in the pages of a comic, you know shit's about to go down. The Joker has been adapted into live action and animation just as many times as Batman has. And every actor who plays the Clown Prince of Crime brings their own unique spin to it, and that includes their own unique spin on the laughter. Often, the way the actor laughs gives you a good idea into how they view and are portraying the Joker. Today we're going to look at the 5 actors who have played the Joker in a live action movie and see just how their portrayal of the greatest comic book villain of all time can really be summed up in the way they laugh. I'm not including Cameron Monaghan from Gotham because I didn't watch Gotham, but from what I've seen of his performance of the Joker, his laughter is fine. It's not bad. Here, judge for yourself. And yes, we're only going to be talking about live action. We all know Mark Hamill has the best Joker laugh, but I want it to be fair to the Jokers who step in front of the camera for once. And besides, if we talk about the animated versions of the Joker, we're going to be here all day, and I would like to go to bed at some point. But before I do that, let's talk about the comics for a second. The Joker debuted in Batman #1 all the way back in 1940. It was also the debut issue for Catwoman. That comic, much like most comics of the era, was actually an anthology comic. It was a comic that told multiple stories rather than focusing on one long one. It just so happens that all of these stories were centered around Batman in some way. The Joker appears in the second and last story of this issue, and in his introduction, he doesn't really laugh, like at all. His first line of dialogue is really just announcing that he's going to kill somebody over the radio. The Joker doesn't let out a laugh until the 7th page of this particular story. And even then, it's not really the big bombastic laughter that we often associate with the Joker. It was more of a simple ha 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 ha, like something a typical comic book villain of the era would let out. Just looking at the way it's written on the page, you can see that it's not really meant to be over the top. It looks like this could have come from the mouth of Lex Luthor or Ming the Merciless even. He just says, "Let that be a lesson to you. A permanent lesson." Ha 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 ha. You know, typical bad guy stuff. He gives off another laugh like that midway through his second story, The Joker Returns, and that's pretty much it for Joker laughing until his final page of the comic, where he gives, finally, a big laughter. This panel is the moment the Joker's laugh is truly born. It's big, it's bold, it takes up most of his dialogue in this panel, and what's important is what he's laughing at. He's laughing at what he perceives to be his own death. That's not really something supervillains did back then. Usually they would just laugh if they thought they had the upper hand over the good guy. This was a character who was so insane, he found his own demise hysterical. I bring this up to really highlight that the Joker laughing has always been a part of the character. Sure, later writers and artists would expand upon it, making it the big, loud, maniacal laughter that we truly know it to be today, but the fact remains that It's always been there. It's always been there, much like Batman's gadgetry, detective skills, and fighting abilities has always been there. So when adapting the Joker to another storytelling medium, his laughter is something that has to be done right. And with that out of the way, let's finally start analyzing how all these actors did the Joker laugh. We start in 1966 with Cesar Romero, the very first man to play the Joker in live action. Now, Cesar Romero was, in fact, a comedian. He had starred in many films throughout his long career, and many of them were comedies. And his version of the Joker was in line with these comedies, just taken to the extreme. He was very loud, very flamboyant, and very silly. And his laugh certainly reflects this. It's loud, it's ridiculous, and it has sort of this rhythm to it. Like it ebbs and flows with how the character is feeling at that particular time. I think it's fair to say that Cesar Romero's Joker is actually a fairly accurate representation of how the Joker was being portrayed in the comic books of the 1960s, aside from the fact that he didn't shave his mustache. And I think his influence can be seen in other Joker actors like Mark Hamill and Troy Baker, especially with the way they perform the laugh, with the rhythm and everything. From Cesar Romero, we go all the way to 1989 with Jack Nicholson in Tim Burton's Batman.
Well, that's the gang. Chances are you bought him already.
Love that Joker.
Jack's Joker was widely praised for being a much more darker and serious take on the character. He was much more dangerous and brutal than Cesar Romero's version of the Joker, much like how Batman 89 was much more dangerous and brutal than Batman 66 was. Now, you could argue that Jack Nicholson is really just playing himself in the movie, but as I said in my video celebrating the 30th anniversary of Batman 89, he really found ways to turn everything up to 11 and make his mannerisms and vocal cues much more exaggerated. This includes the way he laughs in the movie. He had big laughing moments like Cesar Romero, but he also giggled a lot, adding little laughs here and there to underscore particular scenes and in certain cases drive up the tension. Often his big laughs were used as exclamation points at the end of his sentences, really trying to drive home his point. We wouldn't see the Joker again in live action until 2008 with The Dark Knight and Heath Ledger's Oscar-winning portrayal of the Ace of Knaves. Did you know that was another nickname for the Joker, the Ace of Knaves? Nobody likes that one.
I'm a man of my word.
This was obviously a very different take on the character. There was no clear influence from any other previous version of the Joker, and that includes the comics to an extent. He's less cartoony and more psychological and portrayed in a more realistic light. He's less crazy clown and more complete psychopath that just happens to wear a lot of face paint. This different take on the character even extends to the way he laughs in the movie. Heath Ledger's Joker doesn't really have all that many big outbursts of laughter like his contemporaries do. In fact, his very first laugh in the movie is more of a ha. For the most part, Heath Ledger's Joker doesn't really laugh all that uncontrollably. If anything, he laughs at things that he genuinely finds funny. Like, he finds it funny that Batman thinks he can overpower him with violence, or he finds it funny that he was able to turn Harvey Dent into a crazed serial killer. Also, there's the scene where he crashes the mob meeting and he gives off a very sarcastic laugh. It's very different, and I think it sets the tone perfectly for what this version of the Joker is. And then, of course, in 2016, we got Jared Leto's Joker. I talked about him a few weeks back, so I won't go too much into detail, but I do want to go back to his laughter that I did bring up last time.
Are you sweet talking me?
His laugh isn't the classic loud laughter like we're used to. It's more of a like he doesn't actually find anything all that funny. He's just making this sound because it's his calling card or whatever. It's not a natural laugh like the other Jokers have. Like, you know when you're with your friends and one of them laughs in a way that you can tell is sort of forced? That's what Jared Leto's Joker feels like. The other Jokers just sort of let it happen naturally. This guy just makes the sound because he feels like he should. Which brings us to 2019 and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Now, no, the movie is not out yet. I haven't seen it, but even from just watching the trailers, you can sort of get the idea that he's putting it all into his laughter just as much as he is the rest of his performance. Phoenix has said that he studied videos of people suffering from uncontrollable laughing fits in order to shape the way his Joker laughs. And judging from the trailers, you can see this influence in the film proper. Phoenix's Joker will have violent outbursts of laughter in random situations where you can tell everybody around him is getting very uncomfortable. The result is less maniacal laughter and more uncomfortable fear. People in the movie don't seem to know how to handle somebody laughing this dramatically in public. Some will turn away while others will beat them up for it. But all in all, it's still there and it's still a laugh that is recognizably the Joker's. For all this talk about how this movie is nothing like the comics, it's going to be its own unique thing, they really did seem to pull specific elements from the comics because they knew it was that important to the character, and chief among them was the way he laughs. So you can see in all of these different performances that the laugh of the Joker is an important part of the character. It's not only a defining character trait, but it's a great way to summarize how each actor handles this character. Cesar Romero was having a maniacally good time. Jack Nicholson wanted to be seen and heard. Heath Ledger did it for the lulz. Jared Leto is a preening idiot. And Joaquin Phoenix clearly has something wrong with him. It's little things like that that help to make a character feel right. Certain traits like the breathing of Darth Vader or the way John McClane curses. Little touches like that that make a character the character. But for a character that's as malleable as the Joker, everybody interprets him differently. And the best actors know how to take all the best elements throughout his entire history to not only create their definitive take on the character, but also tell you everything you need to know about him just through the way they laugh. Get it right and you're well on your way to legend. Get it wrong and you'll go down in infamy. And from the looks of things, despite everything I've said about this movie so far, this is one thing that I think Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is getting absolutely right. Who do you think has the best Joker laugh? Are you more of a fan of the loud bombast of Jack Nicholson and Cesar Romero? Are you more of a fan of the nuanced cackling of Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix? Or do you actually like Jared Leto's laughing? Let me know down below or anywhere on the internet. You know who's got a bad laugh? Brent Spiner. He played the Joker on Young Justice and it's not great. It's actually very disappointing. Ever since they announced this movie and I said I wasn't 100% on board with the idea of it, everybody was just like, how can you not be on board? Joaquin Phoenix, man, he's gonna be a great Joker. Joaquin Phoenix was never the problem. It was a lot of other things that were bugging me about this movie. From the trailers, Joaquin Phoenix looks like he's gonna be great, but it's just other things that were giving me pause towards this movie. I hope that clears things up. Probably not. People are probably still gonna yell at me. And of course, don't forget that we have new videos every Tuesday and Wednesday, with Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern being Wulff Den Live. So subscribe to see all of that, like this video, and share it with a friend who thinks a lot about the way the Joker laughs just as much, if not more, than I do. I can't be the only one who thinks way too hard about stupid things like this. Thank you all for watching. I will see you next time.